9:15 at night, and although I am very, very tired, there is something I need to discuss. I have no script for this whatsoever, so I'm sorry if I ramble on for too long. This is going to be more of a rant. Well, all my videos are in one way or another, but it's been something that's been bothering me for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, it's been bothering America for God knows how long, decades at this point. Without a doubt, at this point, you've heard more than one thing about ISIS, and you've heard more than one thing about terrorism, the war on it, all that stuff. But maybe you haven't heard the whole backstory and you don't really understand my frustration with it. America's been no stranger to war. It's been going to war ever since before it was even a country, with people who were essentially our forefathers. We drew British blood. We became American. We drew British blood again. We, quite frankly, we didn't quite kick their butts to the curb, but we didn't lose in the War of 1812. We fought World War I with distinction. We won World War II in the end. And we became the most powerful country on earth. I would definitely hesitate to say that Vietnam and Korea were pushovers. As a matter of fact, I would classify Vietnam a Pyrrhic victory at best. It definitely remains the closest time the U.S. military has come to full-fledged defeat and rout. Our most recent war, however, is one that just does not make any sense whatsoever. Tactically, strategically, politically, and quite frankly, emotionally. This war is beginning to wear us down. As much of a war advocate as I am, or at least war in the means of protecting our interests and defending our country, or our borders, I should say. This war cannot be won. It's just not feasible anymore. Not the way the system is running right now. We have the most advanced military on Earth. We are the most powerful military on Earth. On land, on sea, in the air, hell, even in space, if you want to go there. Because the system is set up in such a way, we can't go over there and fight them. We can't bring it into it. Not in this presidency, at least. Maybe there'll be another president arriving in February to clean things up. Because it certainly isn't going to be the current president's plan to send more troops over, even though he has said, by the way, that he would never do that again, and then goes back on his word. That's too soft. He lied and sent in some Green Berets. Let me get back to the point. This war has been dragging on too hard for too long, and it's wearing us down. We cannot continue to focus on extra internal relationships when our internal structure is being boiled from the inside out. Destroyed, I should say. We have a criminal running for president. Racial tensions are at an all-time high since the 1960s civil rights movement. And I would dare say higher than even after the Rodney King beating. This country is falling apart. The system is broken as of right now. We just cannot continue. We don't have the infrastructure to fight this war. And as much as I would love to give my hands on an ISIS fighter, the things any good patriotic American would do, they're unspeakable. because the things they have done to other people is unspeakable. Not more than 10 minutes ago, I read up on an article about a young Christian girl. And yes, it does make a difference in this case if she is Christian. Get over it. Who was burned alive in front of her parents. Let that sink in. This is just one instance of the millions of cases where a Islamic extremist, terrorist, went out of their way to end another human being's life because their so-called God told them to. No higher being would ever put a human being on this earth with the intent to spread death and destruction. Not even the devil does that. But I don't need to get into a religious sermon right now. We need to get back to common sense here. You have a well-equipped, well-funded, well-entrenched enemy. These are not ragtag AK humpers like they're made out to be. They're professionals. Do not let the media fool you on this. They can operate tanks. They can operate heat-seeking weapons. They have even operated jets. Let that sink in. I'm not talking some old MiG-15 either from the 1960s and 70s. No. I'm not talking some old crappy Russian jets. I'm talking modern-day jets that would go toe-to-toe with an F-22, and if the pilot was half-assed, would probably take it down. This is scary, people. This is a professional military. It'd be no different than going up against like some small Eastern European country that like all the something stands you can't even pronounce. Now, if our infrastructure were repaired, our people were united on the issue and didn't bicker about it, or not even bother bickering about the war issue, they'd bicker about who should go to the bathroom, then maybe we can get something done. But as it stands right now, we are not in any position to fight, because not only does the home infrastructure not support it, the overseas infrastructure does not support it. Our military, ironically enough, is running out of money, even though the top 3 military spending budgets in the world combined barely even equal half of what we spend. Now, that might be a slight exaggeration. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do know we are number 1, at the very least. I apologize if that's not correct. But I do know we're number 1. Last time I checked, our budget was $56 billion for this military. Use it. The only way we're going to win this war, and possibly more wars to come, with fractured groups that break off from the ISIS group and other Islamic terror groups out there. Yes, there are other ones than ISIS. Ooh, bet you didn't know that. Hundreds, even. But I'm not going to get into them. After we win this war and this current one, we're going to march right down to their capital, plant the colors on a balcony, and then march right on to the next one. And we can bring an end to this. We should. It's the right thing to do at this point. We got ourselves into this mess, Mr. Clinton, by providing arms to a little group known as, I don't know, what do they call themselves afterwards? Oh yeah, the Taliban. Yeah. We sold them military-grade weapons. Not European-made weapons, not Chinese-made weapons, American homegrown weapons. I'm talking M16s, M4s, M230s, M240s, Maduses, 50 cals, not just small arms either. I'm talking missile launchers. We've considered giving them armor at one point, but we held back on that. We provided them the weapons to wage war. So we're at least partially guilty. And I think the United States as a whole, and whatever incumbent president comes along in February, needs to take responsibility for that and apologize sincerely. But we are not entirely to blame. Yes, I'm talking to you, liberal. They did start this. All goes back. That fateful day when those two towers were still standing. That's not the first day they've stricken out against another group, and it won't be the last. But we can make their last days on this earth come very quickly if we can unite on the issue, put our childish bickering aside, and go over there. And we don't come back until they're gone. If you have any doubts that these people are a threat to national security and that they're misunderstood or they're misconstrued to the media, remember what happened on the 11th and let that sink in. The same kind of people who we're fighting now with drones and elite special forces are the same people who flew into the towers. They are no different. They have different names, they have slightly different ideologies, and quite frankly, slightly different versions of the same radical Islamic kill everyone different mindset. And we cannot allow it to exist, or peace will never be on this earth. To wrap things up, anyone out there, I am pleading with you. Look to the better angels of your nature. Look inward. Do not blame anyone else. Don't look at anyone else. Don't look at the person next to you. Look inward and ask yourself, am I really okay with living in a country that denies that it started the war and refuses to finish it? Because that's an act of cowardice and stupidity, and will lead to further ruin, more death, and more destruction. Not just for people over there, but if we don't stop it there, then it's going to come here, and you'll wish you would have went over there. Talk to people you know and convince them to hear, or at least listen to what I've had to say. Spread this message. Get it out there. Don't be afraid of what other people think. It's not about what they think, it's about what's right. During peacetime, you can express your opinion on you please, but when bullets are flying and people are dying, shut your mouth and get in line. This isn't time for you to be worried about hurting people's feelings, because bullets hurt a hell of a lot more. Alright, now I know how I feel. Spread this message. If you are a young age between 17 and 18, I would implore you to join the military. It's the route I'm going to take. At least, if not after high school, then at least after college. And then maybe I won't sound like such a hypocrite when not only am I supporting a war, but I'm going to fight it. Maybe I'll be the one to end all this conflict. I don't know. I'm not sure how much of a leadership material I have. I can't really think of anything else to talk about, so I guess I can just end this video here. Thank you for listening in. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for listening.